Captain America and The Avengers was an arcade game that was released in 1991, then later ported to the Sega Genesis in 1992 and the Super Nintendo in 1993. The arcade version is probably the best. It's 4-player and doesn't have any kind of slowdown, but the Sega Genesis is a close second.
When I first got the Sega Genesis, this was like the third game I got. I mean, the first two games I got was some crappy NFL game, and then I got Sonic 2. But then, like maybe a month after getting my Sega Genesis, my dad went out and got this game, and it was something we played together. He used to own a comic book shop, so like I was just obsessed with these heroes and everything else like that. Always played as Captain America because that was my dad's favorite hero for like ever.
I have so many memories playing the Sega Genesis version, and I never owned it as a kid, but it was one of those games that I rented multiple times, and I would just play it over and over, and my sister and I, we never could beat it. We played it so many times, but for some reason we couldn't beat it.
I just have a lot of fond memories with this. It's just so fun. It's a good beat 'em up. And I played it with a lot of my good friends. I mean, it's Marvel, so of course it's just epic.
When I was a little bit older, I got the Super Nintendo version, and this is a version that just doesn't hold up as well. And it's the exact same game, same gameplay and everything, but for whatever reason, the Super Nintendo version just is laggy. It just, I don't know, it doesn't flow as well. Something about it isn't right. And if I remember correctly, you can't even use your shield in it, which is pretty stupid.
It just feels off, like there's something not quite right. A lot of reviews for that one weren't so great. Like, just we all agree that there's just something not right with that one.
Now the gameplay is pretty basic, but I think it stands out from other beat 'em ups just because you have the projectile attacks and your superheroes that it's not just a punch and kick thing. You have the projectiles and you have shields, and well, that's pretty much it actually. You can play as 4 different characters. You can play as Vision, Hawkeye, Captain America, and Iron Man. I like to be Iron Man or Vision usually because they can actually fly and go underwater without having to be a little bitch and have a mask on or something like that.
The enemies are super repetitive. There, you only have like maybe 4 different types of enemies. However, it doesn't really take too much away from the game because you're always in a new environment, you're always moving, you're always doing something new. I mean, you could be on the streets fighting and then all of a sudden you're like on this ship fighting a giant robot.
When playing this with a friend, there's a good strategy that you can use when one person stands in front, holds the shield, and the other guy stands behind. So then whatever projectiles are coming towards you, the first guy is getting them with the shield, so it doesn't hurt either of you. And the guy from behind can just keep attacking with their projectile. This has some of the best classic voice acting that I've ever heard. It's comparable to Sunset Riders, honestly. Captain America's voice acting alone, I mean, he should win all the awards, whatever they are, he should win them. Captain America, I mean, when he says, "Okay, go," I mean, come on, there's nothing better than that, really. I don't know what else there is. And then when he says, "Thank you," and waits for like 2 minutes and then says, "Wonder Man."
Thank you, Wonder Man. No!
That brings a tear to my eye every time. There's one line that one of these bosses says,
My power! See my power! See my power!
this was a thing that me and my sister quoted so much when we were kids. We thought that was so funny because I guess it's just his voice, and kids are stupid and think that a silly voice is funny. And I'm an adult and I still think it's funny, so.
Back when I was a kid, I thought this game was an amazing co-op game. Could not stop playing it. I played it forever. And even to this day, I still think it's one of my favorite co-op beat-em-ups ever. I just, like, between the nostalgia and everything, it really stays true. It really holds up to time. And I just love it to death.
Oh yeah, and Submariner, he has this little part in the game when you're underwater, you're fighting a lot of enemies. Then he just decides to swim through once, and he acts like that's helping. He doesn't do shit. So don't. It's cool to see the cameo of him, I guess, in his little green Speedo. It's cute, but he's not helpful. So if you want something a little different from the typical beat 'em up, this is a great type of game. It holds up still today. There's certain things that make it a little cheesy, but I think those are just character. It adds to the charm of the game. I have a lot of memories playing this game with my sister, and even playing the Super Nintendo version, which sucks, but I have memories of that as well. And the game holds up today. I played through it for the first time since I was a kid recently, and I had a blast. It was so much fun. As far as superhero games goes, I would definitely put this in my top 5 superhero games ever.